don't you say come up here?
Hi everyone, 大家好. Welcome to my live stream. Can everybody see me? Today we're going to make dandan noodles. I made dandan noodles on my channel before, and typically dandan noodle topping is made of pork, but today we're going to make of chicken, ground chicken, and also I'm going to show you, a lot of my recipes is one of them. You can turn them into vegetarian. Basically, you just skip the meat. And first, we're going to make the topping for the noodles. Meanwhile, on the stove, I have water boiling and ready to make noodles later. Okay. Okay, let's wait till the pan's hot. So for dandan noodles, very important. This is like the key ingredient for dandan noodles, yacai. This is preserved vegetables made in one of the cities in Sichuan where I came from, Yibin, yacai. So if you don't have any Asian market close by you, actually you can find on Amazon.com. I can put the link in the message box. And so first we're going to make the vegetarian topping. Very simple. Just a little bit of oil. Of course, vegetable oil. And we add a little bit garlic. Turn down a little bit. Can't be too hot. We don't want to burn the garlic. And so we just put the yacai. Don't be panic, like splatters, because it has some water in it. And we add some green onions, chopped green onions. So simple like that. This will be our vegetarian topping for dandan noodles. Okay, this is good. We set aside. Here's our vegetarian topping. Just the yacai, the preserved vegetables with a little bit of garlic and the green onions. So next, we're going to make the chicken topping. As I said, normally you use pork to make a dandan noodle, but we can use chicken too. Just a little bit of oil. And here's I have one chicken tender, ground meat. I know we don't have fun here, a little smoky. So basically just brown the meat. break the meat down. Pan pretty hot, right? Just turn down a little bit. So we just brown the meat until it's golden brown. Okay, look at our chicken's all brown. It's good. And now we add a little bit of garlic. Add a little bit of oil. Okay. Hi everyone. If you just got on, yeah, we are making dandan noodles, and we're making two versions. One's vegetarian, vegetarian. The other one is chicken. Of course, on my channel, I made the dandan noodles before with pork topping. So we just browned the chicken, and we add minced garlic. And since, okay, this is our secret ingredient, very key ingredient to dandan noodle, yacai. That's preserved vegetable. Just add some vegetable. You notice I didn't even add any salt because it's preserved vegetables. They are kind of salty, so that's enough. Yeah. Okay, and we finish with some green onions. Hi guys. And we can add a little bit Sichuan pepper powder, 花椒粉. That's also the key to dandan noodles. Smells good. Okay, so our topping's ready. So I made one chicken tender, so this is enough to make a few bowls of noodles. Also, if you cannot finish, you can put in refrigerator for 2 or 3 days. That'll be fine. So now we have the chicken topping for dandan noodles, and this is the vegetarian topping. I didn't make it too much. Okay, so I have pot of water boiling on the stove. I'm gonna bring back here while we're waiting for the noodle to be cooked. I'm going to talk to you guys. Okay. Put this away. Ta-da! I'm back. So I was boiling the water on the stove. And so next step, we're going to make noodles. Of course, if you have Asian market close by you, you can find the fresh noodles. But dry noodles is fine. You know, any dry noodles of your choice is fine. This is one of my favorite noodles, dry noodles. Okay, we're waiting for the water to reboil. Now I can see everybody's messages. Hi. Hi everyone. Hello, yeah. Stir fry. A kind of magic. She said, I'm making stir fry beef and asparagus and baby Shanghai bok choy for dinner. That sounds delicious. Awesome. Oh, Veritech said that it does not show up in my subs, but I got a notification. Yeah, that's something with the live stream. There's no easy way to notify you guys until I'm live. Okay. Now we're waiting for the water to reboil. Judy Chow. My mom is a good cook too. Wish she got a YouTube channel. Yeah, I wish my mom had a YouTube channel. Actually, if you guys check out my channel, my mom came over 2 years ago. She made cold noodles on my channel, although she didn't show her face. She was a little bit shy. Yeah, that would be good. Your mom's recipes is the best recipes. Actually, that's how I learned my cooking, from my mom, from my grandma. Home cooking is the best, isn't it? Oh, okay, so live stream notification works great. Awesome. Yeah. Team Cable, Chinese food is best in the world. Thank you. Actually, you know, to be honest, I like all kinds of food, all kinds of cuisines, and as long as they are delicious, right? What if you cannot live without? Hold on. Before I answer that question, let me cook the noodles. So since we have 2 toppings, one's vegetarian, one's chicken, I'm going to make 2 bowls. So we just make, so this is the dry noodles you can find in Asian market. We probably just make about 3 to 4 ounces. I like to cook a noodle to al dente. Yeah, it's not too soft. So this noodle normally takes about 7 minutes to cook. So we have time to chat. What's my favorite dish you cannot live without? Good question. Dandan noodles. Actually, I love noodles, of course. I love noodles, tofu. Yeah, I always have tofu, vegetables, green vegetables in my refrigerator. I like chicken, fish. Oh, thank you, Janelle, right? Janelle Cha. I'm so glad I found your channel. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you. I have great Chinese. This is too high now. You turn down a little bit. It's live. I have a great Chinese supermarket by my house, Scratty 007. But I think there are almost too many options. What should I look to make a stir-fry noodles? Cook them. So for stir-fry noodles, you should get those, they call it lao mein in a package. This is not as ideal noodles for stir-fry noodles. Wow, this is high. Excuse me. Okay. Need fresh noodle bitter before frying. Yeah, fresh noodle. If you watch my, wow, this is very high. Hold on. Okay. Never saw this kind of stove, right? Can be so high. Actually, if you look at my stir-fry noodles with shrimp, I've used fresh noodles. But the key with the fresh noodles, you should cook al dente and also rinse with water immediately to get rid of the extra starch. What's your favorite food to cook? Like I said, I like fish, chicken, yeah, steamed fish, pan-fried fish, mapo tofu, everything delicious.
Judy wants to know how to make beef stew noodles.
Beef stew noodles. That would be my next recipe sometime soon. Yeah, I realized actually I didn't make any beef recipes on my channel. You know, normally my normal cooking involves a lot of chicken, fish, a little bit of seafood, and a lot of vegetables. Tofu, yeah, beef, I only cook once in a while, but stewed beef is one of my favorite dishes. Definitely we're going to make that, like Sichuan stewed beef, and also with noodles. Okay, this has been going on for 3 minutes. A few more minutes to go with our noodles.
Dave wants to know if you can make it with gluten. He's gluten
tolerant.
Can you make it with rice noodles?
Yes, yes. Although the one being, you know, authentic dandan noodle normally we made with wheat noodles, but hey, there's no rule, and you know, with the same method you can use different noodles. The key just the topping, right? We made the chicken topping. We also made the vegetarian topping. Sorry, okay. Can I make, yeah, rice noodles fine. Try it, let me know. I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. Lape 333. Lape, yeah, I'm glad you caught my live stream. What's your, Janae, what's your favorite vegetable dish? I like string beans. Yeah, I have the recipe on my channel, string beans, but I don't like string beans in a lot of restaurants. Like a Chinese restaurant, they normally fried it, deep fried it, and that's why it's, you know, they cook it quickly. So the way I make string beans, I boil them first, then you can saute it, stir fry it. Check out my channel, string beans, bok choy. I always have bok choy in my refrigerator. Try tofu suggestion I should do when I buy. Jenny asked, I'd like to try tofu. Any suggestion or things I should do when buying? I like, of course, like silky tofu. Normally used for soup. They cook very quickly. So if you want to make mapo tofu, stew tofu, you can use regular tofu, even firm tofu. I often buy like organic tofu, and then, you know, you put it in fridge. Always handy, right? How long does it take to prepare ingredient for dandan noodle? Actually, just not too much time. I just chop the chicken and green onions and garlic and some leaves. That's it. So, well, that's ready to cook. What is spicy substitute for Sichuan peppercorn? Unfortunately, yeah, Nanny, the Sichuan pepper it's live. Sichuan peppercorn, it's very unique. So they have that numbing taste. It's nothing compared to that. But if you don't have it, you cannot find it. Actually, you can find it on Amazon.com. You can use, you know, white pepper powder, or you can use black pepper powder. Try it, yeah. So give some kick in the noodle. Actually, while we're talking, I think our noodle almost ready. Again, how do you know your noodle is ready? According to my grandma, my grandma said, if you can break it, it's ready. Great, break it. Yep. And then I always, whenever I make all the dishes, I gotta have some green. Of course, you can have this without any green vegetables. Yeah, today I don't have spinach or pea tips or any other leafy vegetables, but I just use some of the bok choy leaves. So last minute before we take the noodles out, we just put in the green leaves. Okay, actually, while I'm talking to you guys, I forgot I gotta make my sauce. Find the Sichuan peppercorn. Yeah, you can find the Sichuan peppercorn in the store, also on Amazon.com. You can find it. So our noodles ready. Ideally, you're supposed to take the noodles out now, put in the bowl, which you already have the sauce. Now I gotta make the sauce. Okay. So for the sauce, I have homemade hot oil, chili oil. You can check out my channel how to make it. Yep. Can you see it? Okay. So we're gonna make two versions. One's vegetarian, one's with chicken topping. So we just add a little bit of hot oil. It all depends on how spicy you want. I used to eat very, very spicy when I was in Sichuan, of course. Everything's piled with peppers, but not now. And add the Sichuan peppercorn. This also is key. A little bit of sugar. I know one of my viewers, he pointed out, he said, you shouldn't add any sugar to your dishes. It's not good for people who cannot, take sugar. Of course, you can always skip it. The reason I, put a little bit of sugar in my dishes, in the sauce, is to balance either acidity or the saltiness. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of oil, and soy sauce. Yep. So just mix this. Yeah, you can also put vinegar. Most of the time I don't put vinegar. I just like this way, but like for vegetarian, we just add another depth, maybe just a little bit of vinegar for the vegetarian side. Just a little bit. Smells good. So this is our sauce. Very simple. Just hot oil, chili oil, homemade. Here you go. And Sichuan peppercorn powder, a little bit sugar, and soy sauce. And this one we just add some vinegar. Now we take out the noodles. So dandan noodle actually is supposed to be dry. Why? Here's a story. Why they call dandan noodles? Dandan actually is something like a pole, kind of like a pole, and on two ends there's a basket hanging, and then a vendor could just carry out dandan noodles and to sell on the street. So just imagine if it's very liquidy, a lot of water, then it won't be fun, right? So will spill. So normally it's dry, but if you want to add a little bit of water for you to easy to mix up, that's fine. So that's dandan noodle, dandan mian. Okay, we gotta be even. This side is vegetarian. This is with meat sauce. Here's a little bit of green. Then now we just put a topping. So this is for vegetarian, no meat. Just put on top. And this is, can you guys see me properly? Chicken topping. Like I said, if you make a bowl of this and you cannot finish, you can store in the refrigerator for about 2 or 3 days. Okay. And that's pretty much, so of course you can just put a little bit of hot oil on top. That's it. That's our dandan noodles. Okay, let me see. Now we can chat. Oh, thank you. Sanijing 123 said you're a great cook. I love cooking. what can I do? I love cooking. Wish I could smell your kitchen. Oh, it will smell very good, really good. So let's mix up this noodle. This one actually, let's start with the vegetarian one. Okay, can you guys see me? Okay, we can move this pot. Maybe even the stove. We don't need this now. There we go. Now it's better. Can I do your makeup for me? Oh, can I do your makeup? The makeup daddy. Sure. Yeah, I just did it briefly. So I'm gonna taste for you guys. So this one is vegetarian. Perfect, very good. Just enough spiciness. Wow, a little spicy. So this is a vegetarian, and the other one is a chicken. Chicken mixed up. Yeah, for chicken, I always use white meat. It's healthier. Like I said, I don't cook much pork or beef. So this is a chicken. Get a piece of chicken. Perfect. Very good. Now dandan noodles, two versions, vegetarian and this is chicken. Watch your cooking. I open camera. Oh, Steve said he's watching me cooking, but open the cabinet and there are only ramen noodles. Oh. Yep. Great. Did I miss any other questions? Yeah, I'm gonna put the link of my dandan noodles in the message box. You can check it out. What makes healthy cooking so important to you? I think it's important to everyone, right? Why don't we want to be healthier or healthy, right? And also, I guess it's a habit. The way I've been cooking like this for a long time, like this. So yeah, it's important. And awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and check out this dandan noodle recipe on my channel. You can substitute the pork with chicken or just skip the meat to make a vegetarian version. Thank you so much, and also for your support all the time, and please subscribe if you haven't. And important to turn on the notification bell so you'll get an email when I post a video, when I go live. And we have more questions. Huwin Chan, thank you. My husband's happy we saw you. Stephen said video. Her husband's favorite is dandan noodle. Great, thank you. Thank you guys so much. I guess I will say good morning, Good night, good evening. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you for all the support. See you next time. Bye.